Our next conversation is still looking at what's happening. So we saw Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, Senate. It gets to a point, in the middle of the night, vote. The Senate Speaker comes and says, all right, so with this and with that, therefore, the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, EGH, ceases to hold office. Kang. Kidogo, Gazette notice. Kang. Friday morning, kidogo, communication from the President to the Speaker of the National Assembly. I have nominated. Kidogo, case. Kirigoya, Nairobi, nini. One of the people who was in the Senate and spoke in the Senate is the Senator for Kiambu County, Karungo, Thang'wa, who's our next guest. Good morning, Senator.
Good morning. How are you, Eric?
Very well.
And City?
We are very well, thank you, Senator.
Yeah, good to see you.
Good to see you too, Senator.
I hope you had a good holiday.
Yes, we did. Did you?
I don't know. I didn't have anything to celebrate about, but but if you remember the last time we were here, we discussed something close to the holiday. So it fell on a Sunday, and Monday was a free day.
Yeah.
But if my law was there...
What happened to your bill, by the way?
I just put it on hold
to
discuss other matters of national interest. But it's still there. But I want to tell you, if my law was there, October 10th was on Thursday, so you missed a Friday.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to see you.
Friday would have been a holiday.
I'm happy to see you.
But there are many Kenyans who took that holiday.
Yeah. You see, that's what happens.
Yes.
That many people actually end up applying for a day off.
Fake barrios.
Yeah. Or you come up with an excuse why you'll not be able to go to work on that day.
Yeah.
And it's just not recognized. So why not just make it official?
Yes.
You're on to something.
We'll still discuss that.
You're on to something.
Yes.
City will welcome you with the day's proverb. This last 3 weeks, this one included, we've been looking at a proverb from the Maghreb. Do you know the northernmost country in Africa?
The northernmost?
Take a guess.
Man, when you put me into that, I was
just
very
take a
good
guess.
Egypt.
You have done well with your estimation.
You're close.
You're very, very close.
Guess number one, you get 2 guesses.
I get 2 guesses. I'm looking at the top over there.
Yeah, from there. So you've started in Egypt. Go.
Yes. Songa kidogo.
Okay.
There's Egypt, there's Libya.
Then there's...
I'm lost.
Tunisia,
yes. Sometimes they don't call themselves Africans.
Oh, they don't.
So that's why probably it's not in my mind.
They actually don't have a choice there. You are defined by the continent.
They like associating themselves with
Arabs?
Arabs, mostly Europe.
But they are Arabs.
Yes, of course they are, but they don't
members
call
of the Arab League.
They are members of the Arab League, and as you say correctly, and if you look at their history, you'll understand why it is they associate greatly with Europe. Because last week I was telling our listeners that if you look at Algeria, and the distance by sea from Algeria to Spain is just 14 kilometers. They share the Mediterranean Sea. So the proximity to Europe is, as we say, right there.
They like that side more than downwards.
There's an interesting thing about history. You've heard of the Carthaginians. There's a gentleman called Hannibal. The man wreaked havoc in Europe. And there are those who say...
He took elephants across the Alps.
Yes. No, he did wonders. He did wonders. There are those who say that the Tunisians were the original Carthaginians. The late Muammar Gaddafi had a different view. He said, no, it was them.
It was Libya.
Yeah, it was Libya. In fact, one of his sons actually was named Hannibal. Yes. So, but that's history.
Yes. Right.
Now the proverb. Even if he wears a valuable harness, the donkey does not turn into a race horse.
Even if he wears a valuable harness, the donkey does not turn into a racehorse.
Wow. You're who you are, no matter what you try, you act to be, I think. In a matter of, you don't become another thing or someone else by pretending to be them. Yes, you are just who you are. I think that is the best explanation for that.
You put it very well. Simply and very well.
You're who you are.
Yes.
And the people should know who you are.
They should know who you are. And that's why we are as a country. We are now able to see who Who they are?
Who are they? Karungo?
There they are.
Who are they?
There they are.
They are who they think they are.
No. They actually, they think wrongly. Yeah, they are who they are, not what they think they are.
Okay.
Yes.
We saw you in the Senate, and we saw you even speaking outside of the Senate, and you were visibly unhappy with the proceedings of the Senate.
Yes.
Right? And this is after the lawyers for the deputy president came and said, our client has been taken ill, he's been admitted to hospital, and the speaker came out and said, all right, now we have a decision to make. We can push this thing up to Saturday, or we can continue. And by acclamation, people said, no, we are not pushing to Saturday. We are continuing. And you're among those who walked out immediately.
Yes.
Feeling very unhappy. Why? What was happening in that period there in the Senate?
You know, Eric, to take you back and maybe to paint a clearer picture of the process at the Senate, you know, once the impeachment happens, as it is prescribed by the Constitution, Article 150, it's supposed to be communicated to the Senate. The Senate has two options. Option one is to go a committee way, which of course will form an 11-member committee to investigate the matter for 10 days and then report to the House. Then the other option is, if we do not have a committee, we go the plenary way. But you see, when it comes to the plenary way, we are supposed to use the mandate that is given by the committee. I mean, nothing stops to say that if we go plenary, we go 3 days. We are still within the 10 days that the committee is given. And then the reason why I still believe the whole process was flawed, the whole process did not give justice to the accused, is because once we got into the plenary way, first of all, there were preliminary objections of the representatives of the National Assembly. One of them was Orengo. And they say he comes in there as in the capacity of Orengo. But we know he is a governor. And the law is very clear, and especially our standing orders. The only way a governor can appear before the Senate, it's only captured in our standing order 80 and 81. That they only come in there as a witness when they are being impeached. So when the Speaker allowed a governor to represent the National Assembly, that already shows that the process itself was not properly administered or was not properly followed. Then you come to the process. We listened to the National Assembly for the first day, which was on Wednesday. And the Deputy President was there from 9 a.m. all the way past midnight. And you know, he's a very active man, so having him to sit down for all those hours, of course, would of course do something with his body. And then because he's a man not used to be stagnant, he's on the walk, moving, working. So then on the next day, he came at 9 in the morning, and he had to sit there. Now it was a day for his case to respond to all allegations. But what did we do as a Senate? We did something that we have never done. We recalled the witness, Mr. Mutuse, who had finished previously, the previous day.
And had been cross-examined.
He had been cross-examined. Everybody had asked questions. But we reinvited him. Why? Because those who looked at that realized he didn't do well yesterday. Let's bring him today. We guide him over the night on what to come and say. So we invite him. We invite other witnesses. Of course, other witnesses, it was okay because they were never there before. So already that's another issue that showed that the whole process was trying to guide towards a certain goal. Then, because if we had done with Mutuse, we only invited the other two. There were actually supposed to be three. The other witnesses. One of them came, Mr. Mulwa, who used to work with Mr. Mutuse under the governance of Mr. Alfred Mutua, who is a CS. So those are three people.
Mulwa was in Makueni.
Was in Makueni.
Yes.
But they actually, after the election of 2022, the three of them went to see the White House in the USA. Yeah, so they are close friends. So, and what happened is that only Mr. Mulu appeared and only Mr. Mutuse appeared. There was no other witness. Sakaja, who was supposed to be a witness, the governor of Nairobi, did not appear. He were told he was sick and he went to hospital in Mexico. I don't know. I only hear India. People go to India. I've never had anybody go to hospital in Mexico.
The Mexicans have hospitals.
Yeah, they do. But it's it's his choice. Okay, all right. So, and then the other one was called Jomo. He did not also appear. So what I'm trying to say is that the whole process, if it was followed well, we did not invite Mutuse for the second time. There could have been time for the DP to appear. Remember, we used the whole morning hours when the deputy president was seated at the Senate, listening again to the issues that we had dealt with
the prosecution's
yesterday.
case.
So when it came to the afternoon, that is when the deputy president fell ill. So probably if we had not, dilly-dallied and, misused the time, he could have been there because he was there. So when he was taken ill, and for us, actually myself, I was really worried because I had lunch with him, because he's still the deputy president, whether he's accused or not, he's still the deputy president. And after lunch at his Harambee office, then we said, let's meet in the chamber. Then we go to the chamber. Then we are told he's sick. And I was like, I didn't, although when we were talking, he could stutter, and we ask, everything okay? Yes, I'm fine. I'll be coming to the plenary. Then he was taken ill. The lawyers informed the Senate. And when we were informed, the speaker said, we are going to give him up to 5 p.m.
To appear, then we make a decision.
And then we make the decision. Remember, another thing that you should look at as why I'm calling it a flawed process. The speaker stopped without the leave of the House. I'll give him up to 5. But when he came at 5, he came with a motion, or he allowed a motion to see whether we can extend. Yet he himself, in his own wisdom, he had allowed hours for us to wait. So, and of course, we could see the mood of the House. Nobody wanted that motion to extend. So, and he came, he made a ruling, and he said that we have until Saturday, informing the House. We have tomorrow, Friday, and we have Saturday. So let's extend this thing up to Saturday. But for us to do that, we need a motion. The motion was moved. Then the whole House, almost the whole House, they rejected to extend. So the question is, why were we in a hurry?
Why did you ask when you asked your colleagues? Because your colleagues are the ones who voted to reject to extend.
Yes.
Why were your colleagues?
I'm telling you, they just wanted to vote.
Why?
Even if we were to be given an opportunity to vote on the first day, tell Mr. Mutuse there to stand. We are not asking you a question. They could have voted. Everybody was ready. Those who voted to impeach Rigathi Gachagua, they were ready.
Why?
Because I had thought that the Senate will give the deputy president justice. They would follow the due process. Every Kenyan, after listening to the grillment of Mr. Mutuse, they realized there is no case. Even Mutuse himself, he could say, I don't know. I am just bringing a prima facie. And prima facie, after I read, it means at first sight. So I look at you, Eric, and I say, Eric, you're a thief. And then, even before I investigate, or I give CT time to ask a question, I say, vote, let's vote. Let's vote for whether Eric is a thief. We are voting whether you have stolen or not, rather than coming with the goods that have been stolen, showing who has lost these goods, showing the police report on the OB, and asking all these questions. When the Senate is given this mandate, they call us judges. But no, we're not just judges. We are investigators. That's why the committee is given an opportunity to investigate. What is investigation, Eric? It's not listening to the story. We don't investigate by just listening. Mr. Mutuse says he has land in Nyandarua that is a dairy farm. We only listen. The Senate did not even ascertain whether there is even that land. The Senate did not ask for the title deed. And again, okay, he has land. So what? I do too. You do. So what is the problem? Oh, I think he might have acquired it illegally. How? Eric, I want you to look at all the allegations. And one of the allegations, he has a helipad. What do you mean he has a helipad? Even if he has a helipad, what's the problem?
He acquired it illegally.
Yeah, I think he acquired it. How? The Senate did not even ask for the pictures.
So what you're saying is that the Constitution places a high mandate on the Senate. That
Yes.
you don't just... This is where the trial takes place. This is where senators retreat, remove your political bias, and look at facts as they are.
Yes.
You look at what has been presented. This is the case by the prosecutor, the prosecuting body here, whether it's a county assembly or the National Assembly. And this is the response by the respondent, whether it's a governor, deputy governor, president, or deputy president in an impeachment case.
Yes.
And you look at the merits and then you measure them against what the Constitution has placed as a threshold.
Yes.
This is what we call grounds for impeachment. And you look at it and say, does it meet, does it not? You should, but what you're saying is that the senators, each individual senator, should be truthful to the Constitution and nothing else.
True.
No more, no less.
No more, no less.
And the Senate did not do that.
Yes, because impeachment is a nuclear option. You know, it must be the last of it all. Because we have EACC. EACC, do you have any report? No. They only bring an officer there who comes with some evidence that is not part of the grounds. He even tries to introduce some grounds on the floor that the deputy president said he was given a cow from the Kalenjin land. And then he reads some section that says he did not declare that cow. And you know it was not part of the ground. So what I'm trying to say is that everything that they were trying is to whip emotions and make the deputy president look bad.
So the Senate was basically just acting politically here.
I'm telling you, the only difference between the Senate and the National Assembly is one did it messy, noisy. The other one did it quietly and pretending to be gentlemen.
Okay.
So, but all of us did the same thing.
Let me ask you this question.
Yes.
You say you had lunch with the deputy president on that Thursday.
Yes.
Is that not wrong?
It's not wrong because...
Should you sit with the deputy president in his office knowing that you're in the middle of an impeachment where you are investigating and listening to a case on him?
No.
Why are you sitting down with the deputy president in the middle of his trial?
He's still the deputy president.
But he's on trial.
The Republic.
Even
the Mutuse fella, we had lunch because he was eating at the Parliament's building.
Does that make it right?
No, because people are there, you don't want to run away. And there's nothing you're adding into it. For you is to listen and ask questions and investigate. Because as a Senate, even the judges, sometimes they say, let's meet behind the jury and whoever at the chamber for a little bit of discussion. So what I'm trying to say...
Does the accused have lunch with the judge?
What I'm trying to say, sometimes it happens. Because when you meet in public, because you're not meeting privately, you're meeting in public. Remember,
Harambee House Annex Senator is not public.
It's an office. It's a public office.
That is the office of the deputy president.
It's a public office.
Who is on trial before you.
It's a public office.
Ordinarily,
yes.
It is not the canteen of the Senate.
No.
You cannot say that you normally, senators, walk over for lunch at Harambee House Annex.
What I'm trying to say, Eric, and I want you to not to twist that to what you're trying to do. When it happens to be the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya, we go to Karen. He's the deputy president. Today, if I wanted, I would go to the State House. And whenever you go, whether you call it lunch or you don't call it lunch, there are refreshment, whatever. We're African and people get a cup of tea. Here, you have given me water. Add sugar, please. And put some milk, at least, to get color. So what I'm trying to say is that even when he comes to Parliament, we receive him. Let's go, because he is the deputy president. Maybe I wouldn't do that for a governor, because a governor is not my governor per se. But this is a deputy president whom we have seen from all these accusations Eric. And one of those accusations, and that's why I want to pinpoint some of them from the grounds that were given, is even that he spoke Kikuyu in Nairobi. A whole MP want to impeach a deputy president for speaking his language in Nairobi. And you know, and I said that in Parliament, our constitution, Article 7, Eric, says that the state shall promote local languages. You know, you cannot be discriminated. That is Article 27 of the Constitution by using your language. Article 44 of the Constitution also says you have a right to choose any language. If you listen to the president yesterday, before he spoke some language in Kwale. I don't know which language, but he spoke like for a minute. Greetings, greetings, greetings. When he comes to Mount Kenya, he starts Muriega, Mwadhaniago Show. You cannot say that is being tribal. Nahedesho there. You know, he cannot be said that he is tribal because of speaking that language. The question is, are they understanding that language, those we are speaking to? And I even asked Mutuse on the floor, would you be having the same problem, if the deputy president spoke in sign language? Are you just saying that because he's a Kikuyu, he's speaking Kikuyu? What if he just decided to speak the sign language? Would you have a problem? The people he was speaking to didn't have a problem. Nobody complained. Even on the issue of shareholding and everything in between, no citizen had complained. But when you ask Mutuse, out of all these 11 grounds, have you done any investigation? I was not in an investigation journey. I only brought to you to find one. So he even told the Senate, you are the one who was supposed to investigate. But did we? We didn't. We only listened. And when the deputy president times come, we don't want to listen to him. We don't want to give him time. So we just want to vote. I was on one of the TV stations, local TV stations here on Sunday night with the senator of Nyandarua and the senator of Nakuru, Tabitha Keroche. And she was asked a question. Do you think the deputy president was accorded enough time by the Senate? Do you think that the Senate did what was supposed to be done? And she said no. And she voted yes. That's what I'm trying to tell you. She voted yes to kick the deputy president out, but she's out here now admitting
she didn't accord him an opportunity to present.
He was not given an opportunity to prosecute. Now, that is what I'm calling the hypocrisy of the highest order at the Senate, that people had to do things to please some quarters or to protect their businesses or to protect their monies, because there was a lot of intimidation. If you don't pay your taxes, my friend,
you'll give us those intrigues.
Yes.
We are looking at what's happening with this impeachment. So what happened in the Senate, the intrigues behind it, there's these allegations of money being paid. The senator has just mentioned here some intimidation of some sorts. And then we've seen the move since then, the nomination and approval by the National Assembly of Kithure Kindiki as the next deputy president. He's from Mount Kenya East. What happens to the mountain as well? So you've talked about allegations of bribery have been made. And in fact, in that TV interview where you were there with the Senator for Nyandarua and the Senator for Nakuru, the allegation of bribery was made. Here this morning, you've talked about intimidation. What was intimidation coming from and in what form?
I really try to persuade my fellow colleagues to vote the right way, which is give justice to the accused. And you could hear somebody tell me that I would want to do that, but I can't. And they give reasons. Intimidation. You see, the reason why I'm a free man, I don't do business with government. I pay my taxes. And I am not very greedy, of course. I am not.
Very
greedy. I'm saying that because you see sometimes every human being has a little bit of it.
Yeah.
So I'm not. And I could not put money, first because I know I was elected by the people of Kiambu. And to the extension, the people of Mount Kenya and the country at large, so that I can be able to represent them. So you could hear somebody say, man, I have a letter from Kerry that says asking this and that. I have a very huge business. If I do that, that will send people to dig in. And when government want to find something, they will come with all allegations. You have seen that the deputy president was told you have 17 companies. What have they done? I don't know. I'm just thinking there's a problem with them.
You received a cow.
Yeah, all those allegations. And when it appears, because they have machineries, by the time you clear your name, things will have gone viral. So there are people who do business with government. And you're told, if you vote this way, my friend, you're not getting paid. So there were so many issues, because how can you tell, or how can, in your mind, can you even think that a senator of a county where the deputy president comes from votes to send him away? I mean, there must be a problem. There must be a problem. The people of Nyeri, that is Nyeri County, they were categorical. They were saying, you are not sending the deputy president home.
In the public participation?
In the public participation, everywhere.
They even protested.
Yes.
Remember?
They protested and everything. But the senator from Nyeri will vote to kick out the deputy president. Why? You look at him, he's not happy. You talk to him, he say, man, I don't just want to talk about this thing. So there was there was a lot of intimidation. There were so many senators who could have voted otherwise. Others even wanted to travel. Others wanted to admit themselves in hospital. But the speaker gave a letter, you should not travel outside the country. I was waiting for the next letter, that you should not fall sick within this period. And for the first time, the Senate was full house, 67. We have never sat 67. So what we're trying to say is that we really disappointed Kenyans, because we are the upper house. We could have taken this issue. We could have been better. And look at it this way also. The members of ODM, senators from ODM, all of them in unison, they voted to kick out the deputy president. And they have so many lawyers. Sometimes they say from Mount Kenya, we are called Thang'wa, Matinga, this and that. So, but for them, Professor Ojienda, we have Senator Sifuna, we have all those lawyers. But they could not see through the lies. They closed their eyes and decided just to vote. And that's why the deputy president was not even given an opportunity. Because the ODM, probably they were told on which side to vote.
Why?
Because they are the beneficiaries.
Let me ask you something, Senator.
Bread-based government. Bread, not broad.
If you look at our political processes as Kenya, the decisions that are made, tell me where it is that the sort of logic that you're proposing prevails, where justice is found, political process, the rule of law is at the forefront of it all. In a Kenyan political process, where do you see it, or where have you ever seen it?
You see, I think that's who we are as politicians. But sometimes it's good to see through the processes. It's good to look at the law, the constitution, which I carry here, which is the supreme law. I remember, because I was also objecting the presence of the governor of Sigei, who is James Orengo. He said on that floor, not that day, 21st June of 2022, he said impeachment is a political process. And when he says impeachment is a political process, my question at that particular time, that's why I wanted to ask, then why are you coming to defend or try to persuade the Senate that this person has committed gross violation of the Constitution, these crimes that you are saying? Then why don't we just tell us it is a political process, let's just vote? So we took Kenyans for a foolish ride, thinking that we are listening, thinking that something will come out of this, but it was a premeditated vote. We knew, we could tell who is voting to impeach and who is voting not to impeach. We knew we were 13. We knew we were not winning. Even before the vote, we knew. And we decided to vote. There are some people who say, okay, then because we are not winning, and there is a karata happening here and there, you are called behind the car, you are called here and there, you are being promised things. You may say, okay, I'm not winning, I need money. I'm young, I need money. I need money. Who doesn't? But we could have said, okay, we can even tell the deputy president, okay, we know you are not winning, So please allow me.
Wacha
tukule hii kidogo tu. At least nijenge. At least niweka kaukuta. But we decided. We knew we were not winning. We were 13. But we decided to show Kenyans that there are people who can look at the money, look at the gun, look at the president and the politicians and decide to do what is right. Yes.
Let me ask the question I asked again. When we have political processes in this country, where have we seen the rule of law? Where have we seen a sense of morality? Where have we seen the pursuit of what is right being the order of the day? Where?
This was supposed to be the first one. This was supposed to be the first one. The Senate could have done what is right. This could have been the first one. Remember, 2 days before, actually a day before, the same Senate had saved the governor of Kericho, Bwana Mutai. He was saved.
On technical grounds.
Technical grounds. Because there was no, what do you call it? There was no
wave.
Not the wave. There was no one behind his removal.
There was no pressure.
There was no pressure. They saved their brother. I asked them to save mine. They said no. There was no pressure to take the governor of Kericho home. And technicalities, it was read, which of course I do understand because I follow the law. Even if they use that technicality, it was lawful. Because there is no 0.0 person. Even when you are 0.0, you are full. So that one I understand. And I agree with the Senate on that issue. But it's because nobody was pushing for his removal. If there was someone...
There was someone pushing.
No.
The MCAs.
No. The MCA did their work.
The 32.
31. Let me tell you. The MCAs did their work. And I want to tell the MCAs, because I'm a former MCA, continue doing your work. Don't be afraid of anybody. Don't be afraid that when it comes to the Senate, we'll be sent back to you or we'll be sent home. Just do your work. Because right now, the governor of Kericho is a different man to the MCAs. So you do your work as long as you are not being malicious. So when that issue came, if there was any force to kick the governor of Kericho or to remove him from office, that issue of technicality, there could have been no POs. Preliminary objections. We will be told, no, we are not investigators. And that's why I have a law on impeachment, which is on the first, it is supposed to go on second reading anytime from now. It has already been committed to the Senate. That is the impeachment of governors, the speakers of the county assemblies and CECs and even the deputy governor. The law says before you start the issue of investigation, we have to do preliminary objection that has to take 3 days. Why is my law saying that? Because I had seen, like the case of Waititu, where the speaker says there were numbers and there were no numbers. So it is to give the Senate an opportunity to investigate whether the process was carried.
Right.
Because the law just says that if there is an impeachment, the Speaker of the County Assembly writes to the Speaker of the Senate. Just that. Can you imagine if a Speaker of any county goes mad
and just writes
and decides to write? There was no impeachment. He just writes. The process kicks in. The process kicks in. So where do you investigate whether the process happened? So I was really happy when that kind of PO came because it gave me grounds now how to defend my bill that is on the floor of the House. But what I'm trying to say is that there was no pressure.
Okay.
Let
me ask.
Yes.
The allegation, there have been very many allegations on the various other impeachment motions for governors and deputy governors, that sometimes there is inducement that comes to several senators. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Is it true? Have you heard of such?
As CT is saying here, where do you expect justice or morality from the political process? Some things happen.
So sometimes it does.
Sometimes it does.
In this particular case, you've also said that, you heard of the same thing happening in this particular case last week.
Yes.
Of some of these things happening. Is it also possible that the defendant played the same game?
Any can play. The defendant?
Were you approached by the defendant?
No, because for us, we do understand that we are not doing it for the person. We are doing it for the nation. Because we look at it, and again, when we looked at the 11 grounds, there are some senators who are my friends. Which side are you voting for? Somebody will say, I'm waiting to hear the grounds. They heard the grounds for the first day. And then I asked them in the evening, are you convinced that the DP has really broken all these grounds, has broken the law? He said, from what I've heard, nothing. So are we voting no? I said, I'll tell you tomorrow when I hear him to defend himself. But already you can, they have dissected the whole process. They already know. Then we go to the next day and ask, now that the deputy president has not been accorded an opportunity, how are you going to vote? Say he did not come, you know. But we heard tomorrow, why did you vote no? I mean, why did you oppose the motion to extend the days? We wanted to finish this thing. So what I'm trying to say is that the decision was premeditated. And that's why I'm telling you, even before voting, we knew we were 13. And actually, there was a time we saw like we were 14. We were like, who is that? Who is that person? But then we realized some people are just playing. You know, we voted for 11 grounds, 11 votes. So, and one ground can take you home, just one.
Yeah.
Even if they voted no to 10, then one ground they say, yes, you go home. So some people are still playing. They say, so that I be seen, that at least I was thinking, fair. So I kick him on this one. So they all agree. The first ground, all of us, we have to make sure that it is taken. And then 56 against, I don't know how many, the 13 of us. So then there were some people who were abstaining. Then they now started playing with the, I vote no, I vote this yes.
So this is, you know,
I vote no.
For many people, Senator.
Yes.
And I'm sure you've heard this many times in the public domain. Many people are not surprised by the goings on in the National Assembly. Many people are not surprised by the goings on in the Senate. Even on Friday, not many were surprised that the issue of the approval of the DP nominee was hurried through Parliament so fast. People have said, this Parliament is really not up to the task of what the people set it out to do in the Constitution. So then it takes you back into what else is happening within Parliament, what other decisions that the work of Parliament and how Parliament is doing its work. One of those, for example, you chair the Committee on Roads and Transport.
Which I think I might be kicked out soon.
Yeah, so before you ask, the matter of Adani has come before your committee,
yes,
right? And it has been really, really heated in the public with the, non-members of the committee coming in as friends of the committee,
yes,
participating in asking questions and going on, so on and so forth. What would you tell Kenyans in terms of just expecting that their parliament will do the job that it's supposed to do when it comes to such deals? I heard the deputy president saying that he has advised the president previously this Adani deal is not a good deal.
Yeah, true. But before we get there, because I want us to discuss that issue, and thank God you have asked me that question, because I don't know whether I'm still going to be the chairman of the Transport Committee. So I might as well use this opportunity to say what we are going to do as a committee. But before I get there, I just want to see the whole thing as a plan just to remove the deputy president. Everything has been pre-planned, premeditated, from the removal, the issuance of the Gazette notice, because the Speaker's ruling that the Deputy President has been impeached came out at the same time with the Gazettement. And that, you see, I wish we were efficient like that. You know, that efficiency, if we were serving our people like that, we wouldn't be where we are now. Then there's an issue of the National Assembly calling themselves for a special sitting to sit on a Friday, saying that they have some issues. But they have nothing. What they are waiting for is for the Senate to remove the deputy president on Thursday so that we can sit tomorrow and approve a deputy president, another deputy president. And that's why they did not want to extend time. They did not want, I wish, and that's why I say, I don't know which book that I read, that before gods kill you, they confuse you. Because for sure, they were confused. Because if they had even given the deputy president on Saturday, we could have done our issue on Saturday. They could have voted the way they voted. Then the deputy president has nowhere to go to court on Sunday. Then the Monday was a holiday. They could have actually executed their idea of swearing in their designate Mashujaa Day. But thanks to, the gods confused them and were given a leeway to go to court on Thursday, on Friday. And the deputy president and his people went to court. And they were given conservatory orders, some from Nairobi and some from Kerugoya. The Chief Justice, who is not in the country at this time, but the office, empaneled a 3-judge bench to listen to 6 cases. 6. And when the 3-judge, that is Justice Ogola, Mugambi, and Murima, were constituted, they were supposed to only hear the 6 cases. But in Kerugoya, another judge gave an order stopping Kindiki from assuming office. This was so express. But what happened? The 3-judge bench sat on Saturday. Tell me, our people, they have cases that have been in courts for years. But this one, the judges will find time to sit on a Saturday. And to do what? To listen or to hear a case that is coming from Kerugoya, which is not part of the 6 cases. And when the CJ forms a 3-judge bench, 5-judge bench, or 7-judge bench, when he forms that, he is supposed to give them directions. I allocate you this case. You cannot take any other case outside what you have been given. You have to wait for the communication again from the CJ to give you the case. So they sat on Saturday to hear a case from a court in Kerugoya, which they were not given an allocation to by the CJ. So I'm trying to tell you,
how do you know they are not given an allocation?
Because there is the petitioner from Kerugoya has written to the CJ. Because when that happens, whatever happens in court, the petitioner is informed and given all the documents, even the direction by the CJ to write to communicate to the judge bench. So they have written. I have the letter. I can show you. I have seen it. It is even in the newspapers today. So what I'm trying to tell you is that whoever is trying so hard. But I urge the judiciary, don't be part of this. The MPs failed this country. The Senate failed this country. Please, judiciary, do not fail this country. Give justice to this man. Even if he was wrong, even if he was so right, let us follow the rule
due process
of law and the due process.
Adani.
In
2 minutes.
I've listened to, we have called the Treasury, that is Bandi.
Yeah.
We have called the PPP's DG, that is a public-private partnership committee.
Yeah.
We have invited the CS for roads.
Yeah.
We have invited the PSS. Everybody, we have listened to them. Mm-hmm. And I want to tell you, because we are about to give this report, we have seen that this deal did not go, again, it went against all the prescriptions of the law. Because the law, and I don't remember the article, in the Public-Private Partnership Act, it says, for you to give a PIP, that is a proposal, privately proposal, for you to give it out, you must justify why you did not go a competitive way. You have to justify. So what does that mean? It means the superior part of doing all this deal is competition. Mm-hmm. You have to be competitive. So what we are going to do, and those are my my proposal that we have to put in the report that I'll be tabling, we have to go what we call Swiss challenge. The Swiss challenge, and that is what we are going to recommend. The Swiss challenge is whenever a government received any privately initiated proposal, you make it public and ask people, do you have a better one than this? Do you have a better one than this? So if there is no one who has a better one than that, then we can go to the processes and looking into it. 2, the country has shown us that you can do public participation within a day without a lot of money, public money used, the whole country within a day. This Adani deal must be taken through public participation. It must be taken across the country. Across the country. All the 47 counties. It must be done for people to know where their airport is being taken. So those are some of the recommendations we are going to do. And we're also going to say that the EACC must investigate a few officers, like the KEA.
So the bottom line, it's not above board.
It's not above board.
Thank you.
It's not above board.
The senator from Kiambu County, Karungo, Thang'wa, has been our guest for this morning. He talked about what happened in the Senate, talked about what he feels about the Deputy President's impeachment, and of course concluded with the Adani deal. He's the chair of the Transport and it's a Roads and Transport Committee.
And housing.
And housing.
Yes.
In the Senate.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.